Well, I tried to put you in the frame and then you moved. There, now you're in the frame. And Mommy has a funny hat. They're like, yep, it is a funny hat, Mommy. I don't know why you're wearing it. Well, I'm wearing it because I'm going to talk about a witch queen. And it's like, you know, 10 days, 10, 11 days to Christmas. 12 days, whatever. Days to Christmas, depending on when this goes up. And so, it's a witch's hat, a little before Christmas, and a Hex Girls t-shirt. So I'm going to talk about the Witch Queen from Black Clover as part of my Black Clover Royals series that I'm working on, as the slight companion piece to the One Piece one. And a Brenda. Hello, pretty girl. She's like, I don't know what is on your head. Do you want to put it on your head? You want the hat? Nope. Nope. No hat for the Brenda. I don't think I can get her to sit still while I put hats on her like I did with Rainy. Yeah, no, you're not doing that to me, Mama. Nope, nope, nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But this is going to come off my head because it's not necessarily the... I mean, it's not as bad as some of the other hats, but not really my favorite kind of hats to wear. Mostly just because I don't really like wearing hats to begin with. The Witch Queen. She does not have any other proper name beyond the Witch Queen. She is a ruler of the Witch's Forest, which is, I guess, somewhat within the domain of the Clover Kingdom, but it's also a separate entity than the Clover Kingdom, or it's right on the border between the Clover Kingdom and the Diamond Kingdom. I'm not exactly sure. The exact placement of it is a little bit vague. But we know that if it's not exactly part of the Clover Kingdom, it's between the Clover Kingdom and the Diamond Kingdom, because that's where the Diamond Kingdom attacks from, and such when that happens. So there is that. And she is also the mother of all witches, which is kind of just more, I don't believe that means she's given birth to all of the witches, because that would then make all of the sisters, you know, all the different witches sisters, like Vanessa and so many of the other ones that we met in the forest, all of them sisters, which is not quite, I think, what they're going for. It's supposed to be that she is like the symbolic mother of all witches type of a thing. And that she has kind of this dominion over them to a degree, within the forest. She is also over 100 years old. We don't get an exact age on her, but she's over 100 years old. She's also exceedingly powerful. And she has a very finicky personality. I mean, she detests men and perfection. And she can be exceedingly cruel when it comes to those who disobey her, in regards to how she treats Vanessa when Vanessa shows up at the Witch's Forest to ask for help for Asta for when his arms have the curse on them, where he can't use them anymore. And Vanessa's trying to get the Witch Queen to heal him and everything. She is also, the Witch Queen is also willing to kill her daughter's friends and is willing to enslave others, as she does with Asta, as I'll go over here. She is very, very controlling when it comes to that type of stuff, in regards to how we see her be portrayed in Vanessa's memories, but also, just within the main part of the story where they interact with her during the Witch's Forest arc. Or the Diamond Kingdom invasion arc, depending on how they want to explain it. It kind of starts off as one and turns into the other. And such. But I'll be going over a lot of that in the video in more detail. But from what we do see much more currently in the manga, since it's kind of like cut off at the moment, one of the things we do see in the manga more recently is that she has kind of decided that she is going to pick the side that is going to help the most people, as in she chooses to help Vanessa and her friends and everything like that, by using her own power as like a sacrifice. So I'll be getting into that when I get to the end of this, but going into the Witch Queen's biography. So within the Forest of Witches, Um, she is like their penultimate ruler and everything like that. Um, and we don't really see too much in regards to like her past beyond what we see with her with Vanessa as a child, but and I don't think that there's been any supplemental material explaining more information about her beyond that. My thought is just she was kind of like the founder of the Witches Forest. Isn't like she over 100 years ago or whatever, she found this Witches Forest, that this domain within the Witches Forest, and set it up with either her own magic or with the help of other witches who were her possible friends or subordinates, like whatever her version of a coven would have been, and they set up the forest. Um, and subsequently found other witches and brought them there, or other witches came there for, protection or stuff like that, is most likely what happened. And then eventually it just grew and grew, and now there's like this big population of witches within the forest. And while they are isolated to a degree from the Clover Kingdom, they still seem to function under the same fabric that when you turn whatever age, you get your grimoire, because we see so many of the other witches, including the Witch Queen, having grimoires. And that they are able to, utilize them the same way that the people within the other kingdoms are able to utilize their grimoires. I don't know if we end up seeing anything that indicates, like, if they have Clovers on their grimoire, since, they're not necessarily 100% citizens of the Clover Kingdom. But then again, Yami still ended up getting a grimoire, even though he was not from the Clover Kingdom specifically, because he's from, the land of the rising sun instead. Which eventually I will get to that, but we'll see when I end up getting to those ones. Still have all the Spade Kingdom and Heart Kingdom to go through first. Well, Heart Kingdom, then Spade Kingdom. But so that's just kind of my theory about how the Witch's Forest was probably founded by the Witch Queen and others, and then has grown subsequently since. The kind of the earliest depiction we get of her is when Vanessa is a child, and when she is beginning to develop her string magic. Her thread magic. And the Witch Queen seems to treat Vanessa very nicely when she's a child. And, is very, compassionate and, affectionate to a degree, to a limited degree, but it is there. That she treats her very nicely. And then she sees this potential within Vanessa, and she decides that, I need to keep this potential for myself. And she traps Vanessa away inside of this giant cage that Vanessa is unable to escape from, even though Vanessa very much wants to be able to leave and go and explore, even just within the Witch's Forest, go out into the world itself to a degree. And I think this is supposed to be the representation within the story of the very protective mother in the form of the Witch Queen, wanting to protect her child. The whole adage in fairy tales that, like Mother Gothel does to Rapunzel to a degree, or the witch does to Rapunzel, depending on which variation you want to go with, where not so much the Disney version, because in the Disney version, Mother Gothel just wants Rapunzel because of her hair, but if you look at, like, Into the Woods, particularly, the Disney version that they did with Meryl Streep and all of that, as the witch that has Rapunzel, she does very much love Rapunzel. But it is this very intense love one way or the other in regards to, like, loving Rapunzel, but also manipulating her to keep her around. It's kind of like this kind of instance that we're seeing here. And for so many years, Vanessa is trapped within the cage, practicing her magic, but she can only do so much. And I do not remember if we get an exact age on Vanessa for when this happens, for how old she is when she's able to escape the cage, because Yami somehow ends up in the Witch's Forest and ends up somehow blasting a hole into the room where the cage is and into the cage, and Vanessa ends up leaving with him. And that just makes the Witch Queen exceedingly angry and everything. because she had foreseen, the Witch Queen had foresaw this inevitable betrayal, eventual, Vanessa's betrayal, but also that Vanessa would eventually return with a gift for her. Fast forward, several years later, again, not an exact amount of time later, when Asta has the curse on his arms from after the battle in the Seabed Temple with Vanessa and Fenrir helping him and everything like that, he ends up having, his arms are cursed and he can't really use them anymore. So Vanessa decides that she's going to go to the Witch's Forest because she knows that the Witch Queen should be able to help Asta. And so she's willing to make a deal with the Witch Queen that I will stay here if you will help my friend. And this is the first time that Vanessa has returned to the Witch's Forest since she managed to escape so many years ago. And of course, what ends up happening is, of course, Asta and Noelle, and I think it's the other witch, but I can't remember her name, that is their friend, end up, taking Asta and Noelle there so that way they can go and find, Vanessa and everything like that. And, so Vanessa goes to the Witch Queen and she, implores her to, help her friend, I'll make this deal with you and I'll stay here if you help my friend and everything like that, if you heal his arms and everything. And, and when Asta and Noelle arrive, they find Vanessa on the floor, with the Witch Queen standing over her and the Witch Queen pressing her heel into Vanessa's head because, it's that very intense kind of love one way or the other type of a thing that she's kind of showing, where it's just like, oh, you were my perfect child and then you left and now you've come back to try to beg forgiveness and beg a favor off of me, so what good are you to me type of a thing. It's that, the Witch Queen the Witch Queen needs to go to therapy, and go to therapy in regards to, like, okay, calm down. Not all men are bad. Perfection is not needed. Children are allowed to leave the nest, or in this case, the forest, type of a thing. And what ends up happening is, of course, via, seeing the curse on Asta and everything, and Vanessa still making the deal that she will stay in the forest, as, the Witch Queen's slave, the Witch Queen, agrees to, heal Asta, and we see her use her blood magic in order to heal Asta. She's also intrigued by the fact that Asta has anti-magic, which she finds very interesting. Also, I love the Witch Queen's design. It is just amazing in regards to, like, this, she's got the big hat like what you expect witches to have, but she's not like the old, crony looking witch with, like, the warts and everything like that. She's beautiful. She has this beautiful dress that looks like, they kind of look like they would be like peacock feather patterns, but also we know that her power is like blood magic, so they also look like drops of blood, in regards to their shape, so there's like a double thing there. And just like the way that the green and the black interact with each other in her outfit with like the red thrown in a little bit is just gorgeous, and I love the outfit. I know I don't necessarily break down what the characters wear in this, but I just love her outfit, and I loved it since the moment I saw her design, in the in the openings for when they were showing this and in the actual episodes. I just love her design. It's gorgeous. And I'm sorry, I just adore the dress. Don't think I'd ever want to actually wear it, but it looks gorgeous. And so we have that. But the queen, to a degree, eventually, agrees that she will, that she will heal Asta's arms, which she does. She uses her blood magic to heal Asta's arms. And unfortunately, this happens to line up for when, when all of the when the Diamond Kingdom is attacking um, and where we have all of that happening with Mira. I don't remember. It's the girl who's the reincarnation of the elf, but she's also the the friend of the guy from the Diamond Kingdom that everybody thought was dead and everything like that and all of that stuff. So and she's Fauna, I don't remember. Fiona, I don't remember. The girl with the pink hair. And the giant flying salamander. They're showing up and attacking the witches' forest and everything like that in an attempt to try to get into the Clover Kingdom. And Asta and his friend Noelle and Finral are there, and Vanessa, and they end up trying to help fight against the Diamond Kingdom and everything like that. But it's also the queen had also agrees to heal his arms. She's also intending to have Vanessa and Asta both have to stay in the forest, because if she makes Vanessa stay in the forest, and then she can, she has the power to control Asta because of the blood magic. So we watch as, or the Witch Queen watches as Asta is able to, just, cut through the giant salamander, and is impressed by their power. And she also, watches as they fight against the Diamond Kingdom and everything like that, and take care of all of their cronies and all of that stuff. So she's watching all of that. She gets involved a little bit, but not too much. While this is happening, the other witches that are within the witches' forest are fighting back as well, because it is their home. So we're seeing a bunch of that. And eventually we get to the point where Asta manages to defeat the Diamond Kingdom people, is able to take them down. And then the Witch Queen, ends up taking control of Asta. She uses the fact that she used her blood magic to heal him to take control of him. And she starts using him to attack his friends. She's she's going to kill Noelle, and she's going to use it to kill Finral and the others that are Asta's friends and everything like that, and make Vanessa watch as this happens. Now, I do believe that Asta is kind of in some like of a trance state at this point in time. I don't remember if he's fully conscious as to what's going on, or if he's like, in his face is able to fight against it, but like the rest of his body is underneath the Witch Queen's control. I don't remember exactly. But we get to the point where, the Witch Queen is having him, attack Noelle and the others and everything. And, while Vanessa is watching this, even though Vanessa is pleading with the Witch Queen to, release Asta from her control and to release her friends and everything like that, and that she'll stay and everything like that, to protect her friends. And we eventually get to the point where, she's, the Witch Queen sends Asta to kill Noelle. Like, there was kind of like a battle going on at this point in time with Noelle and Finral and Vanessa trying to fight against Asta. And it results in, the Witch Queen sends Asta to kill Noelle, and there ends up being this moment where it looks like he succeeded, and then it's just like they jump back a little bit, and it's just like, no, Noelle's fine. And eventually it shows the result that Vanessa has managed to force her magic to grow again, and her grimoire to advance again, and she has created this like threads of fate type of a thing that is Rouge, that is like the red cat that Vanessa has, that develops out of this, and that as long as Vanessa has mana, she is able to use Rouge's powers in order to reverse or negate, to change fate, the person that that she is trying to protect. In this case, she prevents Asta from, even though Asta does attack Noelle, Noelle does not die. She is, kind of reversed back to where she had been. You know, so, and we see Vanessa utilize this power to a very, very, very good, to, you know, has, you know, maximized her ability to use this power throughout the course of what we see with the battle against, you know, the Midnight Sun and everything like that. And the Elf possession arc and everything like that, and even further on down the line, that, you know, Vanessa is able to, you know, have more and more control over how much Rouge is able to affect. She mostly uses it, of course, to help heal the different members of the Black Bulls, but she also uses it in order to help heal, you know, other members of the, you know, of the Magic Knights and, you know, stuff like that, and other allies and such like that as well, because they're her allies. And what ends up happening is, of course, as this is happening, you know, the Witch Queen keeps ordering Asta to attack, and Vanessa keeps reversing it with Rouge. And eventually, just watching this, and, you know, she, you know, commands him to attack Finral, and, you know, again, it keeps, you know, he keeps missing because Rouge is standing on him and keeps, you know, making him change where he's supposed to hit. So he's not actually attacking Noelle and Finral and Vanessa and everything like that. And eventually, eventually, Vanessa is able to get Asta to swing the sword enough that he hits his own head with the anti-magic sword, which then, you know, just kind of like negates the witch's power, so Asta's free from her control. And this, of course, then results in the Witch Queen becoming even more angry, and she then, if I remember correctly, attacks Vanessa with her, you know, giant, large sickle of blood, which again just adds to the awesomeness of her outfit. I was like, excuse me while I pull out my scythe. Shh. Okay, let's keep going. And she tries to fight Vanessa, and Vanessa is able to, you know, keep, you know, rebuffing the Queen's powers back and forth and everything like that. And that results in, eventually the Witch Queen admits defeat. She's just like, I can't do anything to stop you and everything, and she admits defeat. And allows Vanessa to be free, and, you know, releases whatever other control she would have had over Asta. And, you know, thanks them for helping protect the forest and everything. And Vanessa kind of is the bigger person in this regard, in the fact that she's like, I can't really forgive you for what you just did, or even for how you treated me with locking me up when I was a child, but I thank you for healing Asta, and I thank you now to a degree for finally just admitting to let me be free and everything like that. And it is kind of this thing where it's just like, as much as Vanessa has issues with the Witch Queen is still, for all intents and purposes, her mother and the person who raised her. And there's complicated feelings involved in that. And, you know, the Witch Queen also gives Asta some of her blood, so that way they're able to then help fix the two of their friends from the Seabed Temple, you know, the one that lost his leg, and the, you know, the one that lost her voice and everything like that, so they can be healed. And the Witch Queen also just kind of implies that she is, you know, kind of an ally to them now to a degree. And we also find out that the Witch Queen had one of the different stones that Nero was looking for. So, you know, Nero, or Seker, in her bird form, goes over and, like, pokes the crystal. And the Witch Queen just kind of, like, gives it to her and everything like that. It's just like, okay. And so that's how they get that crystal that they, you know, was needed to, you know, revive, you know, Lumiere and everything. But the Witch Queen isn't too prominent for the rest of it. I know that at one point during the time that they are training again, during one of the time skips, I believe it's when during the Heart Kingdom time skip, when like Asta and Noelle and such are training in the Heart Kingdom, that Vanessa goes and does training within the Witch's Forest with the Witch Queen to get even stronger that way. And then much more recently in the manga, during this final arc, we have it that Vanessa and I believe it was that several of them ended up in the witch's forest. I don't remember exactly how, but I know that a lot of the Black Bulls ended up in the witch's forest, because I believe they were trying to find a way to get to where Asta was, and I guess the only person that could perform that type of magic was the Witch Queen, or that would be strong enough for it was the Witch Queen. And so they're having that instance, or that interaction there, and she agrees to help them. And throughout that battle, I do know that, like, I believe several of the paladins show up, and they're trying to fight against, the Black Bulls and the witches within the witch's forest and the Witch Queen and everything like that. And at this point in time, it does seem to be that Vanessa and the Witch Queen have at least gotten on better terms with each other, because what ends up happening is the Witch Queen ends up pushing herself beyond her own capacity of what she's able to do, and she ends up she basically is explaining that this is going to be like the last thing that she's able to do, and she wants to have Vanessa become the next queen of the Witch Forest, the next ruler of the Witch's Forest. And Vanessa is somewhat okay with this, but then Dorothy Underwood, the captain of the Coral Peacocks, shows up, who was also a witch and from the Witch's Forest, but much more advanced in her own training and everything like that, and her own powers than Vanessa is. Nothing against Vanessa, she just has a lot more experience with that, even though she's been asleep for so long. She has a lot more experience with that. And Dorothy is the one that ends up agreeing to becoming the Witch Queen after the current Witch Queen dies, that she will take up that mantle. Which, at whatever point in time we end up getting that finished fully off in the story, Dorothy may end up getting added onto this list as like, she's the Witch Queen now, so I'll do a video about her. But we'll see what happens with that. We haven't seen exactly how all that's going to play out. I think we may have seen the most of what's going to happen with the Witch Queen. As in, like, she used her power to create this portal that allowed it that Asta was able to return, if I'm remembering correctly. So Asta was able to turn from the kingdom, the Japanese Hino kingdom that he got sent to and everything, and she is now much more supportive of Vanessa and Vanessa's choices and everything like that. So we're seeing some of that, but I don't really expect us to see too much more of that beyond maybe something where either after the battle is finished, Vanessa goes back to the Witch's Forest and she's able to say one last goodbye to the Witch Queen, or they just show something in like a couple of panels that shows the Witch Queen, a memorial for her or something like that made up by the witches from the Witch's Forest, and then Dorothy becoming the new queen of the Witch's Forest. I guess that means Mimosa's brother would become the captain of the Coral Peacocks, but that's a very interesting idea there. Oh boy. Yeah. So that's about what we get in regards to like her involvement in the story. In regards to her battle prowess, as I said, her magic is blood magic. She also has healing magic that kind of goes along with that, because a lot of the times in fiction, fantasy type stuff, blood and healing magic can kind of be connected to each other, since blood is a very vital part of the human body and people and creatures in general. So she has, of course, her blood magic. She has her puppet blood flow, which is her ability to generate and manipulate blood. She also has the healing power for the curse-breaking blood cocoon that she uses to heal Asta and everything like that. She also just has her creation magic, which allows her to create, the lifeblood scythe and, several other things that she's able to use. Her other ability, she has bird control, so she can control birds, because we always see these like crows and whatnot around her. She also has immense magical power, of course. She has monosensory, she has fortune telling, so a bunch of those basic things. Fortune telling because she's a witch. Kind of goes at that. And then her equipment, as I said, she can make the scythe, but that's just something that she creates. It's not something that she always has with her. She, of course, has her grimoire, which is a 3-leaf Clover grimoire, so I guess it does have a connection to the Clover Kingdom that way, but it's not particularly very evident in regards to the whole relationship that the Clover Kingdom has with the Witch's Forest, because the Witch's Forest is kind of like its own little entity, but it's not very big. So, not too much else there. Um, you know, there's not too much also that we've seen with the Witch's Queen, with the Witch Queen. Eventually, we'll hopefully cut back to her at whatever point in time in the manga where we get like the last little bit there, where we get like either a last goodbye with her or something like that, or something that shows that she has passed and now Dorothy is going to take on the mantle of the Queen of the Witch's Forest and protecting all of the witches that are there. Probably being a little bit more lenient with them in regards to allowing them to, come and go within the Witch's Forest. Although I don't remember if this was something that was just in the anime as like slight filler, I guess. Although how Black Clover handles filler is a little bit different than like how like One Piece handles filler, to a degree. But with the anime, I think they said that because there's like the other witch that becomes her friend. That's the one that made Noelle's wand. That she ends up being able to actually start selling her wares within the Witch's Forest because the Witch Queen has become a little bit more tolerant and tolerable to allowing people in and out of the Witch's Forest a little bit more often. Give or take, as long as they're proven to not be a threat type of a thing, I would assume. So we at least see some of that there. But that's about what I have here for the Witch Queen. The next one in this series, I believe, is supposed to be Lolapechka, which is going to be a much longer video because we get a lot more interaction with her and she's involved in a lot more battles, or a lot more drawn out battles throughout the course of her arc in regards to dealing with the Spade Kingdom and everything like that in Vanica. So that'll be the next one when I end up doing the next one of these. Coming up on the end of the year, next week should be a One Piece chapter, plus the video I'll be doing for the One Piece Royals, and then I've still got the Miyazaki review, and then I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for my New Year's Eve video, since it's on a Sunday. It's not going to be a Miyazaki video. It's actually going to be something Disney related, because this is the 100th year anniversary of the founding of Disney Studios, and I wanted to do something involving that, and I was like, well, that's going to be my best chances then. So that's what I have. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day. And I hope you have a very witchy Christmas. Bye.